Welcome back in audio travelogue. In today's video, we're counting down the top 10 mountains in the world that will leave you awe-inspired. From towering peaks to majestic landscapes, these mountains are truly nature's masterpieces. So, grab your hiking boots and let's begin our journey. 10. Annapurna 1, Nepal, 8,091 meter. Annapurna I in Nepal is the 10th highest mountain in the world, and one of the most famous mountains on this list, courtesy of the fact that the trekking in Annapurna is truly world-renowned. Annapurna I may be only the 10th highest mountain in the world, but it actually has a higher fatality rate than any other mountain on this list, with 32% of attempts to reach the top of the mountain resulting in a fatality. 9. Nanga Parbat, Pakistan, 8,126 meter. The 9th highest mountain in the world is Nanga Parbat, in the Diamur district of Pakistan's Gilgit-Baltistan region in the western Himalayas. Like many of the other mountains, the name comes from Sanskrit, with Nanga and Parvata, meaning naked mountain. The Tibetan name for the mountain, Diamur, meaning huge mountain, is maybe a bit more appropriate, if a little lacking in creativity. Nanga Parbat truly towers over the surrounding, low-lying valleys around it in every direction. The stunning Rupal face on the mountain rises a full 4,600 meters above its base and is often called the highest mountain face in the world. 8. Manaslu, Nepal, 8,163 meter. Manaslu is the 8th highest mountain in the world. The name actually comes from the Sanskrit word, manasa, which means intellect, or soul. Manaslu was first scaled by Toshio Imanishi and Galzin Norbu, who were part of a Japanese expedition which reached the top of the mountain on the 9th of May 1956. Their ascent was controversial. Locals of the area had prevented a Japanese team from reaching the top in 1954, believing that previous attempts had displeased the gods and caused avalanches that destroyed a monastery in the area, killing 18 people. The Japanese made a substantial donation to rebuild the monastery, but this didn't restore goodwill towards the expeditions, and as a result, the second ascent of Manaslu didn't take place until 1971, when another Japanese team completed the ascent. 7. Dhaulagiri, Nepal, 8,167 meter. The Dhaulagiri in Nepal is the 7th highest mountain in the world at 8,167 meter, and one of the most aesthetically stunning mountains of the lot. The Dhaulagiri was first climbed on the 13th of May 1960 but is perhaps best known for its visibility on the popular Annapurna circuit, with Annapurna 1 just 34 kilometers away and the Dhaulagiri a regular feature on the skyline while trekking Annapurna. The mountains are separated by the world's deepest gorge, the Kaligandaki Gorge, so it's not a part of the world that's particularly struggling for scenery. 6. Cho Oyu, Nepal, 8,188 meter. The fourth and final member of the Everest region's 8,000 meters club is Cho Oyu, the 6th highest mountain in the world at 8,188 meters. Cho Oyu is considered the easiest of the 8,000 meters mountains to climb due to the gentler slopes of the ascent. It's also just a few kilometers away from the Nangpala Pass, a major trading route between the Tibetan and Khumbu Sherpas. 5. Makalu, Nepal, 8,485 meter. Makalu is the third of the 4 8,000 meters high mountains in the Everest Massif in Nepal. It was first summited by a French expedition led by Jean Franco in 1955. Their ascent was most notable for the fact that a full 10 members of the expedition team summited the mountain on the trip. In those days, it was normally only 1 or 2 climbers from each team who reached the top of the mountain on an expedition. So this was a huge deal at the time, and generally, it's just quite nice, isn't it? The first 2 summited on the 15th of May 1955. Then 4 more went up the next day. Then 4 more went up the day after that. 4. Lhotse, Nepal, 8,516 meter. Lhotse is one of the more famous mountains on any list of the top 10 highest mountains in the world, largely because of its proximity to Mount Everest. The route up Lhotse is the same as that up Mount Everest from Everest Base Camp, until you pass Camp 3 and then depart to the Ries Couloir from the Lhotse face, from where the peak of Lhotse is reached. Lhotse is a little like the neglected younger sibling of Mount Everest. Everest gets all the attention while Lhotse, though often considered more visually attractive, is significantly less busy. While the main summit of Lhotse was first climbed in 1956, the Lhotse Middle actually remained the highest unclimbed, named point on Earth for decades. It was eventually first scaled in 2011 by a Russian expedition. 3. Kanchenjunga, Nepal, 8,586 meter. It can be found between Nepal and Sikkim in India, with 3 of the peaks on the border and the other 2 in the Taplejung district of Nepal. Until 1852, Kanchenjunga was assumed to be the highest mountain in the world. But calculations and measurements by the Great Trigonometrical Survey of India in 1849 showed that Mount Everest, known as Peak 15 at the time, is actually higher. After allowing for further verification of all calculations, it was officially announced in 1856 that Kanchenjunga was the 3rd highest mountain. 2. K2, Karakoram, Pakistan, 8,611 meter. The 2nd highest mountain in the world is K2. The mountain took its name from the notation used by the Great Trigonometrical Survey of British India. At the time, there wasn't an apparent local name for the mountain, and so it stuck. K2 is also nicknamed the Savage Mountain, which is cool in a slightly point break, over-the-top extreme kind of way. The mountain is typically considered one of the toughest mountains in the world to climb, notoriously harder than Mount Everest. Despite being the 2nd tallest mountain in the world, K2 actually has the 2nd highest fatality rate per summit attempt of all mountains over 8,000 meters, with around 300 successful summits and 77 deaths. The highest fatality rate is that of the 10th highest mountain in the world, spoiler alert, Annapurna I in Nepal. 1. Mount Everest, Nepal, 8,848 meter. Claiming the top spot is none other than the mighty Mount Everest. This colossal peak has captivated the human spirit for generations. It represents the epitome of adventure and the triumph of the human spirit against nature's most daunting challenges. Scaling Everest is a dream shared by many, and those who conquer its summit are forever changed by the experience. First climbed by Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay in 1953, Mount Everest is, of course, the highest mountain in the world. Everest has come under a lot of scrutiny recently. One thing's for sure though, the inherent draw of Mount Everest is not going to go away anytime soon. Mankind is drawn to the mountain like moths to a flame. As well as those looking to take the route from Everest Base Camp to the summit, trekking to Everest Base Camp itself is also hugely popular. In fact, it's become one of the world's most famous multi-day treks. Which of these mountains would you like to conquer? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell to join our community of adventure seekers. Until next time, keep exploring, keep climbing, and keep chasing your dreams. Happy adventuring! Thanks for watching.